Hello everyone, this is 05 and welcome to the Global Master Toy Review. And today's review is looking at the 2010 release by Hasbro of the G.I. Joe Pursuit of Cobra action figure review. And today's action figure review looking at the Wave 3 of the Desert Battle Conrad Duke Hauser, the team commander for the G.I. Joe team. Now I got this straight from eBay by buying the Wave 3 sets consisting of all 4 figures, and each figure costs about 60 or 65 ringgit. It's a bit more pricier compared to the retail pricing of 39 ringgit and 90 cents, but what choice do I have, considering that in Kuala Lumpur, the state in Malaysia, don't even bring any of the Wave 3 figures from any of the toy shops or toy department stores at all, not even Toys R Us, so I have to resort in getting this straight from eBay. Now let's take a look at the front part packaging itself. The front part packaging, the artwork style for Duke here is very nicely done and quite realistic too, especially on the facial expression. Very nicely done, and bears no resemblance to the Rise of Cobra version of Duke, and also bears no resemblance to the figure itself, which is kind of ironic too. And speaking of the figure, inside the packaging you've got the figure there holding the assault rifle and parts there to form the shoulder mounted dual plasma cannon, a heavy armament for Duke there. And behind the figure there's the base stand, and underneath the base stand is the fold up piece of paper that showcases the rest of the figures that's appeared in Wave 1 and 2. Top section at the back of the packaging showcase the small little write-up of what's G.I. Joe really about and who they're up against, which is Cobra. Here we have the Desert Battle mission, and there's the nice little diorama of the Desert Battle diorama there, with the Desert Battle Dusty, Desert Battle Zartan, the Desert Battle his tank version 5, and the All Striker is next to Dusty. And there's a City Strikes Alley Viper, which I have no idea why he's there in the desert scene, and whoever this figure is, I have no idea. At the bottom here you got a small little file card with the smaller image of Duke there, stating Conrad Duke Hauser, name Conrad S. Hauser, serial number 234-55-G189, grade E-8 Master Sergeant, mission equipment D+ or DP-SM bracket, shoulder mounted dual plasma cannon. At the bottom here, Conrad Duke Hauser commands the G.I. Joe team. He wears impact absorbent battle armor to protect him as he pushes deep into Cobra territory during the desert battle. He keeps moving closer until he's right on top of the deadly Cobra his tank, then he blasts them with his plasma cannon, which is very impressive. So without further ado, let's open up this packaging so we can molest the figure. Be right back. And we're back after the figure, and the rest of the stuff out from packaging. Now inside the packaging comes with a small little ad paper that's folded up a lot of times, and it showcases the Wave 1 and Wave 2 of the G.I. Joe and Cobra figures. Now at the back here it showcases the Sea Strike diorama going on, and I have to apologize the background sounds because they are doing some sort of event right now. Now you can see there's the Sea Strike Firefly here. There's also the Cobra Fury piloted by the Alley Viper officer, and also hiding behind a collapsed wall is the City Strike beachhead. Very nice. Next we'll take a look at the figure's accessories, starting off with the base stand. It comes with a nice little G.I. Joe base stand with a nice little G.I. Joe logo on the top there, with 2 pegs for the figure to stand on. Now at the nameplate there stated as Conrad, quote and unquote, as you can see there, Duke Hauser. I'm not too sure why they wanted to do the quotes there. Now at the back here stated 2007 Hasbro made in China. Now let's take a look at his weapons. Now all his accessories are all new stuff, really nicely done. Well, sort of, which I'm going to explain later. First we have an assault rifle, and this is a new accessory, as you can see here. Nice little smaller paint job going on, as you can see, and very nicely done with the details. You got a small little handle with a trigger there for the figure's hand to slip into. You'll notice there's this very thin barrels at the end of the muzzle here, very thin, so you have to be extra careful because they bend really easily and they're very fragile. And you'll notice there's a peg here. You can actually connect it straight next to the missile launcher. You can plug it at the front like so, straight on like so, but you have to be careful as the thin barrels that I mentioned before is actually, well, being obstructed by the big piece of peg for the missile launcher here. You can put it at below, but I wouldn't even advise it, because if you accidentally push the rifle upwards, you'll break the 2 tin pieces here. So what I do is I put it upside down like so, or you can always plug it at the back of the figure. Either way it works. Now let's take a look at the missile launcher. This is also a new accessory, a new weapon, very nicely done. As you can see, there's a nice little details there. On the top section here, you got a small little handle for Duke's hand to slip onto it, carrying like so, or a smaller handle with a small little tiny trigger to launch the missile. You have the hand guard here, very nice. You got a big old peg here for Duke's hand to slip onto it, but his hand is, well, you can't actually enclose the hand close enough for him to reach the handle. That's the bad point. Very nice. You got a shoulder armrest here to, well, place it on top of Duke's shoulder. Very nicely done with the missile launcher here. Then we have the shoulder mounted dual plasma cannons. Now the moment you pull this out from packaging, you will also notice not only just that you need to assemble the dual plasma cannons, you're most likely gonna be detaching most of the 8 barrels here. Yes, they are all detachable, as you can see here. I'm not too sure why they even do this. They could have easily glued it to the cannons itself rather than making them a separate piece there. Now you notice there's a nice little paint job going on. Of course the barrels here are all in grey plastic, but you notice there's nice little paint job. There's yellow linings at the near end of the barrel itself, and the muzzle there, that's all painted in purple, and the entire thing is in purple plastic, but they actually painted the entire thing to make it look like, well, metallic. And you can see a lot of scrapes going on, indicating that this piece of equipment has seen a lot, well, a bit of action. A lot of scrapes and scratches of the metallic parts, very nicely done with the paint job there. And as I mentioned before, this thing you have to assemble it yourself because they are separate pieces. There's a peg here to connect this piece, and this piece is also a separate piece which connects to the backpack, and the wiring as well is a separate piece, as you can see here. Now the details of the plasma cannon is very nicely done, especially on the back portion here. Very nice details. At the bottom section as well. So that's at the top section. The backpack here, you got a peg to plug it at the back of the figure, and this 2 armrests, you actually, well, put it on top of your shoulders. Very nicely done with this new accessory. Very intimidating because, wow, this is a heavy equipment here. Now there's a problem with the dual plasma cannons because it doesn't stay up, as you can see here, because the peg is a bit too small, and every time you try to lift it up, you can see it starts to pop out very easily, and so does this part too. I'm not too sure why they don't even bother to, well, make this as a single piece rather than have all these pieces together, or at least glue it onto the backpack itself. So yes, the dual plasma cannons don't sit up. Then it gets even better. This peg here is supposed to plug it at the back of the figure. Now once I plug it in like so, this is me pushing it all the way in already, and it still doesn't push it all the way in. As you can see, there's a huge gap there. Now for Duke to actually, well, pose with the plasma cannon, you can actually have him hold it like so with the hand, well, pose up like so, and you can see this entire thing just popped out very loose. It could be mine, I'm not too sure. Maybe some others might have the same issues as well. You can see you can actually have him pose like so. He's sort of like holding it, but it looks still nice, very nicely done. It's just that, well, very loose joints and really very long pegs. Very long pegs. Now let's take a look at the figure's paint job. The paint job is actually not bad. It's actually quite nicely done. Now as you can see, the ties here, the upper ties here is not painted, it's just pure plastic color, but the lower legs section here is actually painted, very nicely done. The kneecaps, as you can see, is painted in purple, but at the edges there, or at the bottom section as well, you can see a lot of scrape, and you can see all the metallic stuff showing up, very nicely done. Now this is the front of the knee pad. On the sides here, they actually painted it to look similar color as the pads itself, very nice. Now for the lower legs here, it's actually made of a black plastic material, but really nice paint job. As you can see, they're both quite similar in color, as you can see here. The only time you can actually tell it's painted is by touching it. So this bottom section here is not painted at all, but the boots are painted, very nicely done, and they are quite shiny, as you can see now, very nice. Now as you can see, the flesh tone skin for the arms here and also the face is not painted at all. So does the gloves there. The gloves is pure plastic color, but the short sleeve shirt is actually painted, and you can see the small little tiny G.I. Joe logo on the side here. The armor piece here, the vest piece here, including at the back, is all painted in purple, but the front is really nice. It's all scraped up, as you can see here, seeing some bit of action going on. Now the rest of the colors is just pure plastic colors. Now the inside of the shirt there is also painted. As you can see, he's wearing a white shirt, and the neck there is actually painted with the flesh tone skin, very nicely done. However, the face is not painted, but the hair is nicely done with the paint job. His eyebrows is also painted, so does the eyes. Very nice paint job. I really like the paint job for this figure. However, let's take a look at the figure's mold. Now, like always, G.I. Joe figures tend to use some reused parts to build a figure, but for Conrad Duke Hauser, quote and unquote, the only parts that's been reused, ironically enough, is the legs. Actually, the legs share the same part as the Desert Battle Zartan. Very interesting, as you can see there, they're both the same legs, and the rest of the parts is actually new parts. Yes, starting from the torso, the crotch area there, or the lower waist here, the arms, the head, they're all new stuff. Very nicely done. I really like the armor piece on the chest here, very nice. And the details on the shirt and the wrinkles, very nicely done. Especially on the glove as well. A lot of nice little details on the glove. I really like the collar there, very nice. And also small little detail like he's wearing a white shirt underneath there. Now the face sculpt is similar to the Jungle Assault Duke from the Wave 1 figure, but except, well, he has this hair, very nicely done. Nice little details. Also, you can see a little bit of scar on his one side of his face here. Very nice. Now, one problem. His leg is one-sided longer than the other, as you can see here. So it has some problems trying to stand by its own. As you can see, it's sort of tilt on one side there. So that's a really bad point. Now let's take a look at the figure's articulation. The head actually can pivot a little bit up downwards, up a little bit, side to side, and turn 360 degrees. Torso here can move forward, back a little bit, and turn 360 degrees. Very nice. Shoulder joints here can move 360 degrees, and lift the arms this far, as you can see. Now elbow joint here can bend this far, bend a little bit back, and turn 360 degrees. Wrist joint here, turn 360 degrees. Now the hip joints is something I really don't like, because it's a bit loose on the upper section of the hip joint itself. And it gets even better when you want the Duke to equip with the plasma cannon, of course, as I'm going to demonstrate right now. He tends to have this problem to, well, bend by its own. Right now it's not doing so because it's standing straight up, but if you move it a little bit downwards, as you can see, it starts to droop down a little bit. So this joint is a bit weak, a bit loose actually, as you can see there. But you can move forward to the sides, back a little bit, very nice. And he has a double jointed knee that bend really far, like so, and also an ankle joint that pivots downwards, upwards, and turns 360 degrees. Overall, the figure is actually not bad looking. I really like the new body mold, and the paint job is really nicely done. Accessories, especially on the plasma cannon, looks awesome. Everything looks very nice. It's as if you're looking on a really nice Porsche car but you'll find out there's some flaws there inside the vehicle itself. But well, there's a little bit of problem. I can look away a little bit, but still he has one leg shorter than the other. The joints for the cannons is a bit loose. The pegs at the back there doesn't peg all the way in, and I would say that the figure is still nice, but with all that flaws, I cannot give this figure a nice 9 out of 10, nor even an 8. I would give the figure a 7 out of 10, and that's as generous as I could give, because he still looks a very, very nice figure and very awesome looking accessory. Problem is, with all this quality control issues going on with the figure, I just can't give him any more higher points. So 7 out of 10 for Conrad Duke Hauser. And I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05, and I'm signing off.